and I'll have a vanilla, one of the vanilla bullshit things, whatever you want, some vanilla bullshit, latte, kappa thing, whatever you got.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you, Larry, bullshit, motherfucker! You are such a bald asshole! I'm not sure.
What is that? Oh, that's mine! Hey!
This is the one you
That's
told me about?
it, yeah!
Mondo
Freaks.
Mondo Freaks.
How's it going, everybody? I don't even know where to look at the camera because the camera's moved. We got the wide shot here in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rob Fishbeck, and with me live in person is my wonderful co-host, Justin the Juice. What's going on, buddy?
Not too much. Extremely excited to be, not for the first time in person, but for the first time on a show together.
Hell yeah.
In person.
Hell yeah.
It's
like, because I want to look at the computer, and I need to look at the camera, and I want to look at you. I don't know how everybody else does this. I rarely have any guests live in person. So just deal with it. You're probably just going to see me looking down a lot. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Season 12, Episode 6. We are officially over the hump. We are more than halfway through the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. This episode, I want to lead with this. I like that this had nothing to do with any of the Atlanta stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a totally different setup. We got Loughlin showed. Listen, if you would have told me before this episode aired, who do you think could possibly pop up in this episode? I would give a list of like 20 people that would make sense to be on Curb. Different guest stars. Would have never, even after 100 guesses, would not have guessed Loughlin. How about yourself?
So good. Yeah. I'm sure we'll get into it more, but it's a very Larry move to have Loughlin on Curb.
All right, so this is what I want to start off with. The opening shot, Leon is loading his plate, talking to himself like I do. I talk to myself when I'm at buffets.
Oh yeah,
because I get super excited. It's like, they got steak. Oh, the shrimp. Shrimp.
So good.
So before we even continue, what's your stance on buffets? Do you like them?
I do like buffets. We were a big buffet family when I was growing up. So whenever, especially like grandparents would come to town, they come to the Milwaukee airport. Every single time we'd pick them up from the Milwaukee airport, we would go to Old Country Buffet. Okay. And then when we would go to take them back to drop them off at the airport, when they leave, we would stop at Old Country Buffet. So we'd always, every visit, and they visit 2 or 3 times a year. So we were eating we were regulars, even though it was a 50-mile or 50-minute drive from our house. Yeah. Every time we had the same.
Oh, it was 50 miles to go to the Milwaukee airport.
Like an hour.
And then you'd come back and hit up OCB on the way back.
On the way back, right.
On the way back.
Right.
We call it OCB. That's how many times I've been to Old Country Buffet.
That's fair.
We had to start using shorthand. So I'm huge on buffets. We grew up for children of the 90s. If you guys remember the Scholastic Book It program, in which if you did like reading on the side outside of whatever was required in school, at least here in Illinois, we would get these coupons for Pizza Hut that you could redeem for a buffet. So my mom, we'd save them too. We'd save them for like a month or two. Cause it'd mostly be between 2 or 3 of the kids. Cause the one was still too young. We'd get them and she'd always have them stuck in her purse. She'd have like 6 of them in there, and we'd go to Pizza Hut and we would do the buffet. I hear there is still a Pizza Hut buffet in Evansville, Indiana. Next time I come to Evansville, shout out to my Evansville family. I'm coming for you, Pizza Hut buffet. I want to have one last memory as they finally closed the one down in Ludington, Michigan a few years ago. The one from my hometown in New Lenox was closed down. Gosh, I want to say it's been well over 10 years now that it's been gone. I also really miss the KFC buffet. I don't know if there's still any in America. If you're watching this show, please let me know if there is. I will drive to your state to go to that KFC buffet because what you can get for $15 is not what you can get through the drive-thru at $15.
No.
Oh man. I was always more of a Golden Corral guy over Old Country. I love the Chinese buffet. They closed the one down here in Joliet. There's a great Chinese buffet up north of here. One of my good friends, he told me that ever since the pandemic, they no longer do the buffet. You can just order food. It's called Chai Tung. Shout out to Chai Tung. Fucking greatest Chinese buffet I've ever been to in my life. There was the Coyote Canyon in Bradley, Bourbonnais, Kankakee area here in Illinois. Coyote Canyon also went under during the pandemic. It was like a Tex-Mex buffet.
Okay.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm eating steak and nachos in fucking heaven.
Yeah.
When you go to a buffet, when was the last time you went to a buffet?
Well, I'd say the buffet kind of hybrid that we go to now. There's one in Green Bay, an hour away from me. We do a lot of the Mongolian grills where it's
BDs.
Yeah.
BD's Mongolian Grill.
We got Hoo Hot is what we have.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, it's called Hoo Ha?
Yeah, Hoo Hot.
Hoo Hot.
H-U-H-O-T.
Okay, so not the Al Pacino quote.
No. Yeah.
Hoo Ha!
But yeah, because that's great because
next door to she's got a great ass.
Because you still get like the all you can eat.
Right.
You do have to wait a little bit while they cook it, but you still go up there. You get like we always fill 2 full bowls twice. So we're essentially getting 4 total plates. But
right.
That I grew up in a small town with 2 restaurants, a diner and a pizza ranch.
We just got a pizza ranch down the street.
Really?
Just opened up. I've been to, so shout out to my friend Scott Pitney. He was in the Air Force and he was in South Station in South Dakota. Okay. And when he got done with the Air Force, I drove out there and we brought all his shit back here, moved him home, And when I was out in South Dakota, we went to a Perkins. It was my first trip to a Perkins. And then we went to Pizza Ranch. Full disclosure, I got really fucking high before we went to that Pizza Ranch. And by golly, did I have a great time. My body hurt so bad for the next 20 hours straight. Anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going on about your Pizza Ranch and the Mongolian.
Well, so I grew up on Pizza Ranch. Most people don't like the pizza. I actually like the pizza, despite, it's not the greatest, but it's very childhood memory for me. I can still eat it and have a great time.
Yeah.
I famously will say there's no greater feeling than entering a Pizza Ranch. There is no worse feeling than leaving a Pizza Ranch. You're trying to get your $12 worth.
100%.
And what's crazy is the pizza, to buy just a large pizza is $20.
Right.
Or you go to the buffet and go nuts. But they have great chicken. They have great sides. But yeah, definitely big buffet. Our family China buffet is still a staple when our family gets back together, my immediate family. So yeah, buffets have been surrounded by since I could eat, basically.
I love it. Yeah, big buffet guy. It's not like how I used to be. By the way, rest in peace, true. Chicago Dough in New Lenox, Illinois. They finally went under. It's one of my favorite pizza buffets. Oh, man. I heard through the grapevine they went under over the last 6 months. Wow. We'd go there a couple times a year.
You ever do Susie's?
Is it still $5? Because there's no way it could still be $5 with the inflation.
Right.
But I mean, do you remember it was $5 to get in?
Yeah, I would only that was a later in life thing for me because we didn't have one near me. I remember my cousin being me and my friends, we would go to Susie's and spend $5. There's one in the mall.
Yeah.
We just get the table, post up, and we'd take turns walking around the mall while some of us stayed at the table. So we'd get our lunch and dinner for $5. We'd play card games, and the manager went up to him and was like, I got no problem with this. So they just have a hangout day at the mall. Just whenever they want to grab some pizza, they do it. Just play board games, card games at the table.
So we had a CC's in Lockport, and it was $5. This was like 2009, and me and my friends would go there like every couple months because you could get a lot of food for like really no money. So granted, it wasn't the greatest, but like I remember like I don't know about you, but their deal at the one in Lockport was, like, hey, if I wanted a sausage, green pepper, black olive pizza, I would just go and be like, can you make one that's got, and they'd be like, yeah, you got it, buddy. And then I would just like, oh, hell yeah. Because like I like weird combinations.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, but they lasted maybe 5-7 years, and then they were gone. But yeah, is there still one by you? Is it still around or?
I don't think I've been there since the pandemic. So
since the pandemic, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't close. It wasn't close to us, but it was. Yeah.
That sucks. I need to look into. There's a lot of research I'm going to be doing after the show because I want to see if there's a CC's around here. I'm still trying to fix this camera so it's a little clear, but we're already live on air, so there's really nothing much I can do at this point. But it's okay. So I say all this to say, when I go to a buffet, sometimes I always do a minimum of 3 plates, and that third plate would be a dessert plate minimum. Sometimes it's 4. Sometimes it's 4. I didn't like the fact that the guy approached them and said, you can't have any more. You're banned. You've had too much, too many plates. Larry, you're not banned. And then he tells them that the food's not very good. This goes back to, again, I can't stress this enough. Larry David. Why is Larry David eating at some buffet that's even in LA, even with LA prices, it's probably $20 a person to get into this buffet. Maybe 25 at the most because it is LA.
Yeah.
Kind of throws me off.
I think it goes, well, one, it probably can feed, he's going there with Leon. He's not going there necessarily with, he's not going there with Richard or one of the other guys.
True,
I think it's
true. He's not taking Sienna Miller.
Have you heard this story? My first ever date that I went on was to I took her to a China buffet.
Like the Seinfeld episode.
Because I'm like, all right, it's a sit-down place.
Right.
But it's not like, you can get what you want,
Right.
And so, but I told the whole story there's a clip on my channel.
Okay.
And I called into the Schmoes No Show in like 2016, and I told the story or asked like a question, like, is it okay to take a first date to a China buffet? And
what did they say?
They laughed. They were like, because it came, there's a lot of build up for me to like ask a question. And so that was eventually the question I asked.
Yeah.
Ken Knapsack was the only one to really answer it. And he eventually was like, I would steer toward a Cheddar's. He's like, you got to know your body before you can enter.
That's true. That's true. Especially if they're using MSG instead of vegetable oil. Cause like I would just be so bloated after eating a bunch of Chinese food. That's fucking hilarious. That's I took a date to the BD's Mongolian Grill once. It was like a group date sort of thing. And I never asked her out again, mostly just because I know it sounds bad, but like I just wasn't that interested to begin with. And I was really into the food. And I think she could tell after about 20 minutes, like Rob's way more interested in talking to the cooks here to pick their brains on how they make this food so he can learn how to make it himself versus like, so what was your childhood like?
That's fantastic.
Is there any states you're not allowed to go to anymore? So there's that. I thought that was a great bit because all right, I got one more buffet story and then we'll move on. So me and one of this guy is like my second dad basically. And this is about 7 years ago. And he was going on this diet starting the first of the year. And he was going to try to lose like a pretty significant amount of weight. And his family wanted him to do it. I wanted him to do it. He wanted to do it. So the week leading up to New Year's Day, it was like a marathon of food, you know, because he's like, Robbie, they're not going to let me eat this after the first. Robbie, we got to go here. Robbie, you want to go, you know, like he's calling his kids and he's calling me. He's like, let's go to Texas Roadhouse, you know, and like eat all the bread, you know, let's go here. So it's like, it's the night before New Year's Eve. So it's December 30th.
Okay.
And it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday night. And I won't say the name of the company, but they have a family business. And at the time he drove one of the work vehicles, and it had like all over the side of the vehicle, the name of the company and blah, blah, blah. So like you knew it was him. Like when you saw that, you're like, oh, yeah. You know, yeah, right? So he's like, I'm over at his house and I'm hanging out with his son. That's how I know him. I'm really good friend, best friends with his son. And, you know, he's like, hey, you guys want to go to the KFC buffet? It's like, I only got 2 more nights before I go on this diet. And his son's like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, I'll go. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're very much kind of like Larry and Leon.
Nice.
Way more like Mac and what's Danny DeVito? Mac and Frank
sure.
on It's Always Sunny. It's very much our dynamic.
Nice.
So he's like, all right, let's go. So we get to the KFC buffet, and there's a whole reason I set all this up. We go in the KFC buffet. He's going to town. I'm going to town. It's the fucking KFC buffet. Food quality is really good still. And we notice there's this couple sitting like 2 tables over. I would say they're both between their late 50s, early 60s. They're not, no body judgment, but they're not obese. They're average size. You know, he's probably like a large, extra large, like my build. She's, you know, around the same, you know, for a woman, probably like a medium to a large. Average height, average build, average weight. They look like your regular mild-mannered couple, right? And they're eating their food. And we saw when they loaded their plates up. We're very perceptive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like they really loaded their plates to the point where he made a comment to me and he's like, Robbie, he's like, you know, man, they really loaded their plates up. And I said, yeah, you know, they probably don't want to get back up. Like they're going to enjoy their meal and they're going to go home. So we're eating and we're both kind of glancing at this couple. They eat all of the food. Now, like they got 2 pieces of chicken, bunch of sides, biscuits, blah, 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 all gone. We watch them get up. They go through the line again. This woman had 2 chicken breasts and 2 wings. He had 2 chicken breasts and 2 wings, plus green beans, corn, mashed potato. Round two. We go for round 2. We come back. We watch them get up for round 3.
Wow.
Round 3. Okay. And he turns to me and goes, Robbie, he goes, watch that couple. You can see them better than I can. They got to be sticking this in their purse or something. Like, there's no way. So I'm watching them, and they're picking the bones clean. You name it. Long story short, we stayed for like an extra half an hour. We were full. Just to watch this couple. They awesome. Must have gone through the line 4 or 5 times. We were convinced. They each must have eaten a dozen pieces of chicken. And I'm not talking about chicken wings or chicken legs. I'm talking about chicken breasts.
Right.
Okay. Plus all the sides, blah, 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 blah. He thought she was sticking it in her purse, like watch, see if they pull out like a Ziploc bag or napkins or what. Swear to God. And we're just like so consumed by this whole thing. All of a sudden, his phone rings and he's got 6 kids. It's one of his kids. Hi, Dad. Hey, I'm with what are you doing? Oh, I'm with Robbie. He calls me Robbie. There's only like 5 people allowed to call me Robbie. He's one of them.
Yeah.
She goes, oh yeah, what are you and Rob doing? And he's like, oh, we just went to go grab something to eat because he doesn't want them to know that he's at a buffet.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, we are on the main drag in this town, like the main road to get through the town. And he's driving a large vehicle that has the company, the family company plastered alongside of it. You guys went to get something to eat? Did you go? Are you at KFC? Oh, how did you know? Dad, you have a giant van with the lettering all alongside of it. So immediately we go from this couple to like, he's in trouble now because like he's not supposed to be like, you're going on a diet in 2 days. It doesn't mean eat 12,000 calories, beforehand. So I say all this, me and him, every time we drive by a KFC, one of us brings up, remember that couple?
Oh man.
Oh, like it was yesterday. Can you believe they ate all that chicken? Like, where are they? Again, I don't mean to be this way, but like if they were some large people, it's like, okay, that's where it's going. I don't know how they ate all this food. They wouldn't, like I could eat like if I didn't eat all day and I sat down, I could probably kill like 3 chicken breasts from KFC with a bunch of sides, couple biscuits. But then that's it.
Right.
Anyways. I love buffets.
Yeah. Great.
Now I'm getting hungry. We, as men, I'm sure women also, but as men, we waste so much time urinating. I love how Larry decides he's going to memorize the Emancipation Proclamation during all of his urinary breaks, and he hangs the poster up. I think I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start putting up scenes from movies to memorize dialogue while I go to the bathroom. I love the whole thing. All right, what do you want to bring up next from the episode?
I will just say there's a great bar in Sheboygan in my hometown that's got movie posters up in the bathroom, or the posters that have like all the famous quotes.
Oh,
so you just pick 100 quotes. You're just up there while you're like, you're trying to guess. You're like, okay, what I know that. What was that from? And then like it tells you now. But
right,
yeah, that's a good idea to get something like that because it is a long time. I didn't write anything down. So if you whatever you've got.
All right, hang on one second. So the next thing I got written down is there we go. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were in HD. We're in HD. We're good. Nothing to see here. So Susie, by the way, I'm glad Jeff showed up because there was that scene with him and Susie, and I'm like, where the fuck is Jeff? What is Jeff Garland got COVID or something? Where's Jeff been?
Yeah.
Susie, listen, Susie has started a lot of businesses. I don't remember there being a setup in a previous episode for this new caftan. It's called Catch a Caftan. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Right.
Did she bring that up in a previous episode?
I think so. I did rewatch the episode right before the other one as well. And I don't think.
Either way, she's on this giant billboard and somebody puts a dick on it. So she's sucking a dick. And she's like dangling the balls. And what I loved more than anything about this whole bit is just how hard her husband, the character Jeff, not Jeff Garland, but Jeff Green, thinks this is the funniest shit he's ever seen his entire life.
It's the best.
And Larry's like, your business is going to be very successful. She eventually gets double dicked. There's a second dick. I love the whole thing. I love how, and again, it's the perfect writing for the show. Sienna Miller wants to date Larry David.
Yeah.
And she's constantly eating fruit in her videos or in her movies, which that was interesting. Irma's gone. He didn't waste any time.
No.
Irma's out Sienna Miller's in. Doesn't last long. Last thing she says to him, "You're an asshole."
Heard this before.
The famous last words from many people that have run into Larry David over the years. I say this to say, by the way, those movies that she was in, I was like, yeah, they're pretty good. They actually spent some time.
Yeah,
and they
they
got
did,
some pretty
yeah.
good movie clips. They didn't have to do that.
Right.
They could have just done the shot, kept the shot on them like they're watching the screen, never actually cut to the screen.
Yeah.
Maybe throw some
That
audio.
was cool.
I like the extra effort. HBO's got the money, I think.
Yeah.
You know, not enough to put out Batgirl or Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah.
But, you know, regardless. So, Rachel and the Rug Merchants. I'm not familiar with the story from the Bible. Remember when she says, "Oh, like Rachel and the Rug Merchants"? I think they made that up.
I think it's completely made up. Yeah.
Because I know the story of Ruth in the Bible. Like I was trying to think of like our names, and I'm like, I don't remember anything with the Rug Merchants.
Because Jacob, Israel's who becomes Israel. He marries Leah and Rachel, but there's no Rug Merchant.
There's no Rug Merchant
story, and
but now I kind of want to see the Monty Python film Rachel and the Rug Merchants, and get like I don't know, get Margot Robbie to play Rachel.
Yeah.
Like that would be hilarious. I'm totally down to watch that movie. Warner Brothers, you should get that made. I just pulled Margot Robbie out of my ass. Emma Stone, I think, would also be great to play Rachel and Rachel and the Rug Merchants. She just won an Oscar, so. Yes. When you go to a movie theater, not just a movie theater, any theater where there's stadium like seats, I don't count concerts as much just because most of the time you're probably going to be standing.
Yeah.
Same with sporting events, though. For those of you that know me, know I don't really go to very many sporting events. Do you have any experiences with people that didn't respect the theater? Because my real only I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'1". So sometimes I kind of do this.
Yeah.
Because I still have no problem seeing. But I always feel bad. Like if there's a girl behind me that's like 5'2", and I can tell. I feel bad. I got to, so like I don't want people I don't want to block people's view. I've heard down in front before, and it's like I'm just standing normal height.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad about that. But outside of that, the only thing that drives me nuts is people on their fucking phones during the movies.
That's right.
But outside of that, I've never had like the code issues. How about yourself?
Yeah, for the specifically in the movie theater, during Dune 2, it was funny because how during some of the subtitles, it would go to like the certain corner of the screen.
Yes.
So there was this guy in front of us, and I think everyone else in his row had reclined. He didn't recline, which that's his choice to not recline. I don't always recline.
Either.
But he, his head's sticking up. So whenever the dialogue would come to the right, we'd have to like look around to see it. But that's obviously he has no idea that that's happening, and it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't very much, but for the jacket thing, that's always a conundrum. I go to a couple baseball games a year, usually when the season starts.
Okay,
so it's still you don't know how the weather's going to be.
Who do you root for?
The Cardinals.
Well, I know you're a Cardinals.
I go to
the Brewers games
when the Cardinals are playing. But I forgot. I hadn't been for a while. The theater is completely like heated or indoor, like so that it's all temperature controlled. Yeah. And so I like brought my jacket in and then had to like carry the jacket around because I was kind of doing some walking around. But
it's temperature controlled where the baseball game's at?
Yeah. The whole stadium is.
Is it indoors?
They'd close the roof. They can close the roof. So they can keep it open, but usually the roof's closed, especially when it's still cold. But yeah, so I have for movie theaters, for sporting events, I've intentionally left my jacket and stuff in the car and just endured the cold walk or whatever, just so that I don't have this jacket that I need some place to put, because there's never a good spot
Right.
to put it. But other than that, so it's funny, this 2 years, Killers of the Flower Moon was the only time where I
got my, by the way, for the audience, I got my Dune 2 poster. I'm redoing the studio, so the next time you see the wide shot. But yes. Anyways, what were you saying, Killers of the Flower Moon?
So there was like a group of, like, I couldn't tell exactly how old they were. I think turned out they probably were ranging between 16 to 20, somewhat, like six or so of them. We're about an hour and a half into the movie, and I'm pretty much by myself in the row. There are other people in front and behind me.
You went by yourself.
I went by myself.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people in the theater in general.
Sure.
And maybe 6 of them just walk by, and I'm like, who is coming in an hour and a half late? I'm like, it is a long movie. But you clearly, very quickly, right away, they were not here for the movie. They were here to goof off. And so they were all on their phones. They were all, they were talking. And so I did feel a little bit of the responsibility to be the one to say something as the one closest to them.
Right.
But I could tell, like, I was like, they can't, this is they've got to be they can't stay here. There's no way they're going to stay here. And then, like, they'd be quiet for like a minute and just be like, okay, maybe they're whatever. And then be right back. So I see the people in front of me. Like, I hear like the wife whispering to like a husband, like, you got to go say something, or like something like that. And then 3 different people like get up and like leave the theater, and then they come back in, and there's a bunch of guys with flashlights coming in, and I'm the only one in the row, and they're all like laying down in their seats. So these flashlight guys come and they're shining their flashlights, and I think all they can probably see is me. And so I just get up and walk out, and I'm like, I'll let them take care of this. I had to go to the bathroom anyway.
While the movie's playing. Oh my God.
There's flashlight.
This would not, by the way, I want you to finish the story. I would have been like, shut the fuck up. I've been waiting 3 years for this goddamn movie.
True.
Shut your fucking mouths and let's watch Marty's film. Have you seen this before? Because I haven't. And I probably would have gotten an applause. I have no problem being that guy. I don't give a shit.
I had that. Yeah.
Because you want to fight me, I'll fucking knock your teeth out. Like, I'm here to watch a 3.5-hour movie.
It's true.
You know. Sorry, go ahead.
There were like 6 of them. But
yes,
is that
right? Well, yeah, sure.
But yeah, but still.
Sure.
So as I'm walking back from the bathroom, they're escorting all of them out, like 3 managers or whatever, with all 6 of them.
Yeah.
And so I did drop a thank you to the one of them as I was going in, but
we had, so this would have been, when the Eternals came out, I went to the premiere. So it's 3 p.m. on a Thursday, first showing. Again, nobody knew that the movie was going to kind of be a little mediocre. So it was pretty full. There was like 60 people in there. And there was a couple of people, I don't know, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And they were talking. We were maybe like 5 to 10 minutes into the movie. And they were yip-yapping. Now, I'm all the way up top dead center because I like either the back row dead center, or if it's a movie that I'm going to review, because that way I can pull my phone out like real dim and put notes in, and there's nobody behind me.
Right.
Or I take the row in front of it if I'm not doing notes, because that's like the best seat in the house, in my opinion. It lasted 20 seconds, not even 30 seconds. Kids were talking, blah, 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 blah. There was a guy probably 10, 15 years older than me. I'm assuming he was there with his wife. Wow. And he just goes, "You gonna shut the fuck up or what?" And those kids, those kids didn't say anything else. They didn't say anything else. And he didn't say it like like a deeper voice. He's definitely a man, but like he just said, "You gonna shut the fuck up or what?" And those kids just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I will say I've had sinus problems in movies before, so sometimes I gotta like blow my nose and I feel horrible. I always try to time it to when something loud is happening.
For sure.
That's when I'll, blow my nose or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It happens, But outside of that, I don't know. Iron Claw, there was, because it was the premiere, there was a couple glitches in the video, because it's obviously all digital.
Yeah.
Happened like 3 times. There was like 12 people in that theater for the premiere. And I'm walking out, and I was like, man, that kind of pissed me off. There was like a total of maybe a minute of the movie that we missed. It was like 15 seconds here, 20 seconds there. And it just like the screen would go blank.
Oh, wow.
But you could still hear the audio.
Oh, okay.
So again, I can follow it. Well, I'm walking out, and there was this big guy. Like, I'm assuming he's a wrestling fan. Like, he's like 6'5", big guy. He's there with his wife. And I'm walking out of the theater, and I go alone most, like 95% of the time by myself. And I'm just like emotionally wrecked from watching the Iron Claw.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like thinking, because like I got to get home and get ready for Characters of Culture. So I'm like, it's raining, blah, 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 blah. So I'm walking out of the theater. I probably am in this exact hoodie, which I wear all the time. I got 3 of the same hoodie, by the way. And I'm walking out. Yeah, it's like a uniform. I come walking out, and I'm just like this. And this guy goes, hey, bud. And I'm like, oh, God. Because, like, this guy's fucking huge.
Yeah.
I don't know, just immediately like, oh, God, what, I don't say anything. And I'm like, I don't think, maybe he's not talking to me. And like, I turn and I walk like 4 more steps, and he goes, hey, bud. And I turn around, and I was like, hey. And he goes, hey, you know how it glitched a couple times during the movie? I said, yeah. He goes, I went and told the manager he's coming back with free passes for all of us.
Oh, wow.
If we want to come and see another movie for free. And I'm just like, just the best day ever.
Yeah,
this is fucking great. So I ended up getting to see Ferrari for free.
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
But so those are random movie theater experience. Have you ever had any random?
I did. When we went to see Avatar 2, the lights were still on and the trailers were starting. The lights in the theaters.
I've had that happen to me multiple times recently.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I noticed we got there pretty early, and I noticed there was like a movie theater worker I hadn't seen before, but he was just one of those guys you could tell from the way he dressed. I don't know a good way to describe it, but you could tell like this is kind of like this is a nerd, but in like I viewed him as like one of the guys who would want to be like the hero, like be like, yeah, kind of like just this nerdy guy. And so I'm like, you know what? I bet that's the perfect guy to find and go tell, because he'll like, just from the way like he was he acted, you could tell he'd want to be the guy to go run and fix the problem. And I tell him, and he like didn't believe me or like he didn't. I was like, hey, the lights are still on. He's like, well, is the movie started yet? And I'm like, well, no, but the trailers are going.
Right.
Like
the house lights are supposed to go down when the trailers start.
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, the trailer. He's like, well, basically, like was like, don't like what are you talking about? The movie, if the movie hasn't started yet, then go away. And so, but then like, yeah, 5 minutes later, they did flip the switch. So
Napoleon. Once saw Napoleon with one of my best friends and his wife, and the trailers were playing and the lights were still on, and I started getting super nervous. And then like right before Nicole Kidman came on the screen to do that, the lights went down, because I was like ready to go fucking tell somebody, like, or just go try to find a switch and shut them off myself. Like, excuse me, if you're not going to do your job, I will do it for you. Because I'm here to watch this movie. Like, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, I really like watching movies. So, and I like to watch them and not be bothered at all. Godzilla -1, it was the same deal. And Nicole Kidman came on, and they were still on.
Man.
And I'm like, oh shit. Halfway through the Nicole Kidman ad, they go off. Now that theater was pretty packed. So I'm guessing there was probably somebody 2 or 3 trailers earlier that was like freaking out. I've never had it to where the movie starts and the lights are still on, but I've come close a few times.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
No.
By the way, for the movie theaters, as soon as Maria Menounos is done talking with her Nuvi thing, and then the trailers start, that's when you shut the fucking lights off. I want to watch the trailers with the lights off. I don't want them on. After Maria Menounos, before Nicole Kidman. Depending upon it, I'm mixing Cinemark and AMC. I don't give a shit. It's the same deal, you know. Same deal. Okay, so theaters. Let's talk about Lori Loughlin.
Yeah, that's a good thing to.
For those of you that are not aware of the college admission scandal, you know, I always thought it was kind of dumb, anyways, because it's like a lot of people do that. Like I just assumed like all rich people do that. And why are you guys persecuting Lori Loughlin, Felicity Huffman for doing things that pretty much everybody does?
Yeah, and they just happen to be the ones that get caught.
Right.
So that was always my perspective too. So I was pretty, and as a big Full House fan, just as a kid,
right.
You know, wanting to be like, we don't like, there's so many terrible things that people actually do, like, which is not hurting anybody, not doing anything.
No, you got the money. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, is it morally probably not right? Not. Yeah. No. Should it be illegal? No.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, to your point, think about the amount of time that the Justice Department in California spent pursuing that when they could have been pursuing literally anything else. I'm sure, Mariska Hargitay has spoken out upon this because she's worked on Law and Order for years about the backlog of sexual assaults that don't even get, looked into because there's so many. Maybe that's what you should focus on. And not like, hey, they kind of wiggled their way in so that she could get into Harvard or whatever. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But anyways, keep going.
Well, I love how they play into the character essentially. Like they play in. She's not on there to like apologize and do like a whole thing. It's like she's still clearly like kind of the same type of person you would expect the character of her that has kind of become. Larry's playing into it on that. And so it's kind of justice, but also not in a way too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then it turns out she's got, what was the word she used? I didn't write it down. She's got something. So she's got the blue flag for the golf cart.
Oh, yeah.
So they can drive anywhere they want.
Right.
And she said that one rheumatologist said so. She's got blah, blah, blah. Well, according to one rheumatologist, I might. And then they're going to leave. And then we find out she's got, not only does she have a handicap pass, she's got the handicap symbol on her license plate, which... that's a whole nother fucking level of insanity. So I think they really did a good job. And good, by the way, shout out to Lori Loughlin, like for playing along with that whole thing.
Right.
She did not have to do that.
Right.
So that says a lot about her as a person. Loved it. And then I loved the bit with Sienna Miller when he's like, you wear a wig in like every different, and then she's like, I got alopecia, asshole. And I'm just like, oh my God, this kind of reminds me of the Will Smith bit from the Oscars. Yeah. And then it cuts to outside the theater, and then Susie gets pissed off, and Jeff's like, oh man, he's like, no, just move your head to the right when I say, bam. Don't you ever, whatever. He does the Will Smith quote.
Yeah. The same.
Same thought. I think I still have the picture. Let's see. Do I? Oh, I do. Bam.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I thought, the alopecia and the pretending. It's one of the things you just love so much about Jeff and Susie's marriage, despite all of the things that Jeff has done, all the things Susie's done, and how funny he finds it, and then just to go and do the fake slap. And
I love it.
Good.
It's fucking fantastic. And then they get into the theater. I love the callback to the dead fish guy
Oh yeah.
from the last
Yeah.
episode.
Yep.
No dead fish. I'm not going to do the accent,
Yeah.
but no dead fish. Fish not dead. Fish downtown. If you want to go visit. Fish's dead. No dead fish. Fish not dead. Fish is dead. Fish is dead.
Oh.
I love a good callback
Yeah.
on Curb. That was great. I just love how Ted Danson, and don't you just love, obviously he's sitting with Cheryl.
Yeah.
Out of all, the
Right.
last episode, it was, Larry, how long are you going to be in my house?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we come full circle because Leon and Larry decided to go spray paint at the Chinese or at the buffet. Not all you can eat. And then he gets pulled over for making an illegal U-turn, and they see the spray paint in the back. I'm interested to see where this is going.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got
Yeah,
4
it's a
episodes
great-
left, and that's it. We got to resolve the Atlanta issue. This is one of my favorite ones of the season.
Yeah. So too.
You got anything
Yeah,
else to say on this
3.
episode?
It's been tough with rewatching so much of the show too. Like I just watched where they get divorced and he's trying to get back together and all this stuff. So it's honestly the episodes are blending together for me, which is great, yet unfortunate for talking about it more
Sure.
specifically. But yeah, it's very exciting. It's fun.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, season 12, episode 6. It's been a shit show. This is a blast. Blast doing this live on air. Justin,
So
what
good.
do you got going on and where can the people find you at?
We I wasn't a part of it. We did the chaotic neutral bracket last night, but we got
You were at work?
I was with my buddy.
Oh,
We were
right.
just
Yeah,
out.
right. Yeah.
Um, But got the heroes bracket the next 2 weeks, which is going to be awesome. And
Who won the chaotic neutral?
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
They said it was a blast. Villains list was a tie between The Rock and Matt Rife.
Who is Matt Rife? Is he a
He's
political
some
guy?
comedian.
Comedian. Okay. The Rock, because of what's going on in WWE?
Because he's trying to copyright Jabroni.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, you can try and copyright words, but I will see you in court, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, because I will continue to use that in my, I like to think, more than limited vocabulary. But yes. No,
Right.
I know. I saw that because you
Yeah.
guys were really pissed
Yeah.
off. Because how often do you play the clip? You're a jabroni!
Right, James Remar. We got
Every
it.
intro. Hollywood's James Remar.
And we have an Iron Sheik for the wrestler, for those not familiar. Picture, like, as one of our photos we'll just pull up randomly during the show. He's shirtless, it's hilarious. And then I found out while we're live that he was the actual jabroni originator in WWE. So the fact Rock's trying to take an Iron Sheik thing as well. So that was the big push. They were leaning Rife for the winner, and then I was like, no, this is a sin against
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
all of us here with the show and the Iron Sheik. So we just decided to tie him.
It probably would have been Ticketmaster 2 years in a row had some large artist decided to go on tour this year, but Taylor Swift's not touring this year. So I think they're safe.
Yeah.
But they're still just horrible human beings at that company. Who do you think is going to win the hero bracket?
I think it's always somebody I don't. We do have. I'm gonna be pushing. I think for Greg Thompson. He was the one. He does all the at home with English videos that we kind of pull up every once in a while.
Okay.
So he does like because you remember in school when the videos showing you the different learning different language.
Okay.
He's doing that, but in English. So it's just hilarious and somebody basically cut like all of them together and added like Elder Scrolls music to make it sound just epic. So he'll be he was on it last year. He didn't win. I'll be pushing for him this year. But
Okay. Tune into What the Show. It's on every Wednesday nights.
Yep.
You guys don't ever do it on other nights, right? It's usually Wednesdays.
nope. Regular show, yeah.
Wednesday
6
nights,
Central.
What the Show. Check
9
out What the Show.
Central.
You can find me at Rob Fishbeck. I'm all over the place here on the RFN. Characters of Culture. We'll be live for Characters of Culture just in 4 hours. So this is always fun. Thank you for joining me in person.
Of course, anytime.
blast.
Definitely be back.
We got to do this more often.
And go to a buffet after.
We'll go to a buffet. Let's find out when the Cardinals are in town for the White Sox or the Cubs.
Yeah,
Because
for
here's
sure.
the deal. Like, I would love to go to a Cubs-Cardinals game, but it's they'll probably let us in for free at the White Sox park.
Sure.
The way
I've never
they've
been
been-
in there. Yeah.
You've never been
So,
there?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's so cheap to go. No offense to the White Sox or White Sox fans. It's a way cheaper to go see the White Sox because they're just not very good, and they have this giant stadium.
Yeah.
So let's do it when the Cardinals are in
For
town.
sure.
Have a good night, everybody.
Squeeze
Take it easy.
And I'll have a vanilla